Sound speeds. Let me ask you, has this nightmare ever happened to you? You're on set and everything is going great. Your mic is closed, the dialogue is clean, and then the director decides in his or her infinite wisdom that the actor needs to be doing something very noisy over a particular line or two. Like, for example, I'm sitting here talking, saying a wonderful line like, you know what? I'm really happy a new Sound Speeds episode dropped. But instead, it comes across as, you know what? I'm really happy a new Sound Speeds episode just dropped. And then the actor says, ooh, with that action, I think I need to mumble the line. So suddenly it comes across as, you know what? I'm really happy a new Sound Speeds episode just dropped. That is the nightmare that sometimes we live in. Now, what can you do? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you just that. Before we get going, proof of concept time. Check this out. You know what? I'm really happy a new Sound Speeds episode dropped. How did I do that? Was it ADR? Well, it may surprise you, but I'm not a post guy. I'm a production sound guy. So working in a post-recording studio, doing ADR, which is automated dialogue replacement, not additional dialogue recording, it is basically a process where an actor will look at themselves on the screen, cut into the show the way it's going to be, more or less, and then somebody has prepped the audio so that way you hear the audio that was recorded on set and it's re-recorded cleanly in a studio wearing a lav mic, hopefully with a boom mic that matches what they used on set that day. More or less, that's the general principle, and I'm not going to go in any deeper than that into what it is. But an actor could be days later, weeks later, maybe even years later, has to match their performance to what they did on screen. Recapture that emotion, recapture everything, and they're not acting to anybody, they're acting to themselves on a screen. Not exactly the best circumstances for this to fully showcase their acting ability on screen. This is why performance on set is so important to capture with the boom and the lavs and plants and whatever you happen to do, tools and tricks in your arsenal in order to try to get the dialogue on set that day. Sure, there are post tricks that can fix things and kind of help fill out scenes as needed, but it's obviously not a replacement for capturing good, clean dialogue in the scene on the day without an actor doing a noisy action right over their line. Instead of ADR, here's what you can do, something called wild lines on the set. That means that you shut off any of the noisemakers and things that were preventing you from recording a clean audio track, and you record properly on set the day of the performance the way it was actually delivered by the actors in the moment while they're still there in the moment. Very, very critical. And let me go over a few of the things you need to keep in mind when doing this in order to do it properly. Number one, don't change mics from what you use in the scene. If you used a Sennheiser MKH50 on the day as that scene was performed, you cannot suddenly change to a CS3E Sanken in order to capture the wild lines. It doesn't work that way. The microphone has to match. And also, you can't have it be really close, almost like a voiceover type situation, that close to a mouth when you were this far away for the rest of the scene. You want to match your distance. You also need to match your environment. It's not good enough for them to say, you know what, we can't really match it here, but we'll go outside and record the wild lines as we're waiting for actors to change for the next scene. Doesn't work that way. It's got to be done in that environment where acoustically it's going to match the rest of the scene. Yes, I know post has some powerful tools, but you don't want to rely on post to try to fix this when it's so easy to just do in the right environment. In this studio, it's going to sound totally different than it would be if I'm in my living room, even if it's carpeted, or in the closet, or in a bedroom, or wherever. It's got to be done on the set where it was recorded, where the scene was recorded, that is, on the day. Another thing, it has to be a dialogue match as well. If an actor said this one particular word and then flubbed it a couple of times, which version did the director like? Well, if the director might want to play variations of it, make sure you cover all of those variations because they might end up using it in post. So the dialogue has to match. You also want to try to match the energy level and performance of the actors. Now, granted, the director should help with this, but if the energy level of the actor is expelled by the time they get to the wild lines and they're just reading their lines, it's not going to be a match for their performance that happened during the scene. For example, someone's running and then suddenly they're just reading the lines. Okay, so this was my line. It's not going to match energy-wise. Performance-wise, it's not going to match at all. So how can they slip it in there? It's not going to make any sense. It's going to just be a down. Post is going to say it doesn't work. ADR it is if they can't fix up and scrub out your audio track and repair it. Last thing that really you need to make sure you keep in mind here is the action has got to match. So if they are doing, for example, a dance and and you're getting a wild line of that, it's not enough for them to stand still and not do that. Their breath is changing. Everything is changing about the way that they do things. They don't need to jog in place and make themselves exhausted and tired, but they got to at least act like they are. They have to match the action. If they jog in place or something, so that way their breathing is more or less the same. That way their action, and maybe not their footsteps. I mean, they don't have to lift their feet off the ground, but they can at least do the action and match the action so that way you have it. And most importantly, now those are first of all, those all involve the word matching. You have to remember matching is the key word. It's got to match the way it was done in the scene. Another big thing that is absolutely critical is that you want to do it right as soon as the director and the actors have dialed in that performance before you move on to the next scene. The reason why is, let's just say you do a scene the first 2 or 3 hours of the day. Then they say, we'll do the wild lines at the end of the day. 10 hours later, the actors are tired. They just want to go home. None of the background people in there are going to be able to stand still because they're wanting to leave at that point. The crew is going to be taking down lights and trying to be as quiet as they can about taking some notes or, taking and collapsing a C-stand. It's not going to be quiet. And you got to do it on the day, right there, when they've dialed in that performance, because hours later, they're not going to remember the way they delivered those lines. They're not going to remember the timing that they did for those lines. They're not going to remember the way that scene was performed. So you need to catch them in the moment while they remember how everything was done. Another good way to think about this is they could do a couple of lines and get the whole scene done wild in only a matter of a minute or so. Maybe even 2, depending on how long the scene is. But if it's done later, it could take 5, 10 minutes, whatever, to recapture that moment. It doesn't work that way. They cannot do it that way later because the actors are not going to be in the zone. No one's going to want to tolerate it. The wild lines are not going to work. Actors won't remember how the line was delivered. Everything is going to be wrong. It's got to be done right there as soon as the scene is done, once the performance is dialed in and everything, before you move on. Now, what are some of the circumstances that you might need to use wild lines on? Let's just say that an actor is on the phone with another actor, but the person that's on the phone is never going to be covered. We're not going to do the other side of the phone call. For example, you have a main actor talking to a support person, and they call up someone who is just, let's just say, an actor who's just doing a voiceover and answers the phone. Hello? Yeah, no, the diner's closed. Call back later. Boom. You're not going to cover the diner side of it. An actor just said, hey, is such and such there? We're closed. We can't talk to you right now. Clicks, hangs up the phone. Are they going to do the other side of that conversation for a quick line? Not probably. So if you're never going to cover the other side of it, a wild line might be great to have if you were going to be getting somebody like the producer is going to be doing the voiceover. They might say, oh, the producer's going to do it. Let's get that wild real quick. If you have the other person on that set, absolutely do it. Another way to do this is if an actor is off-screen yelling. They don't want to have the actor expel their voice out by yelling multiple times, so they say, okay, well, just say the line and then we'll record it wild later. They're off-screen. It doesn't need to be delivered as a full scream that's going to make everybody freak out there multiple times as you record this scene at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock a.m., and it's going to be very straining on their vocal cords. So you don't need to do that. Just get 1 or 2 good screams off camera that's going to be done wild on that actor or actress. And that's it. You can move on. Another great circumstance is if you do a superhero type show. People are constantly wearing masks that cover the bottom or top part of their face. If it covers the bottom, then record the whole scene wild while the actor had the mask on, but then have the actor take the mask off and deliver the lines the way they actually delivered it in the scene. That way post can say, oh, cool, I can easily take these and slip those in there and use it with the effect of the actor's voice for the show. And they're going to say, oh man, you just saved us all that ADR. Let's just say that there's smoke machines running because it's a heavy atmosphere scene. It's outdoors in the middle of fall and you're in the middle of a pumpkin patch or something. And there's smoke all over the place and you hear of all the foggers going. Well, that's going to mess up your sound, just like it would be if there's a big, huge amount of wind coming in and they're using a Ritter fan. So it's a big, huge engine that's just blasting, going like crazy on a fan that's 6 feet in diameter, blasting an actor in the face. Record that wild line so that way an actor who's going to be screaming with that kind of wind coming at their face, you're going to get that line clean as well. Let's just say actors are dancing, or there's background dancing behind the scene. You want to get the line wild, so that way it helps to fill out the sound, and that way they can remove the footsteps. Like line dancing is really bad. If people are all line dancing, it's thump, thump, thump. Even if you're using a thumper with your audio playback, it's still not going to work because footsteps are not going to be within the thumper frequency range. So thump, thump, thump is right over the dialogue. It's going to completely torture your sound person that's doing the post-dialogue editing and stuff. They're going to say, oh man, this is terrible. Record the line wild, and it's going to help them out tremendously. If you're doing a scene where actors are running, people are running. Let's just say that you can't follow them with the boom because they're just running all out. No one can do that. So you end up having an electric vehicle or something that is pulling the camera, and the actors are being, running toward the camera. You're going to hear zzz of the vehicle. It's going to be all over your dialogue. The actors are trying to yell, stop, slow down, something like that directly to camera. They're like this, framed, chasing after an electric vehicle. Well, why do you need to have zzz like this over their dialogue when it's so simple to just record the line wild and have post slip it in there and fix their wild screaming line? A whole bunch of these things can be done and fixed with wild lines in post, and it's actually not that difficult to do. The main thing you have to keep in mind is that this preserves the actor's performance on that day. They don't have to recreate it later in post. The director is going to be happier with it. The actors are going to be happier with it because they've spent all this time shooting the scene and dialing in the performance right there. And that's where they're delivering the line that's going to be used in the show. Post, sure, post can Foley and add the effects, the sound effects, and make it sound like they're going into a tornado if that's what the action happens to be. Or it can make it sound like a little bit of the crinkle if they want to have a little bit of that just to make it sound like they're playing with a bottle. But they don't need to have all of that wild sound underneath the dialogue because they might not be happy with the balance. Dialogue's here. Suddenly the Foley noise is here. Maybe even it's louder because the actor mumbles. That's not uncommon. They can dial in the exact level of the audio on the actor with the sound effect that is underneath that they're trying to do. Someone's playing with marbles. Someone's playing with keys. Any of that kind of stuff. Record their line wild if you don't get it clean because actors are talking too low or the background level is too high. Signal to noise ratio is key after all, isn't it, when you're recording dialogue? Now, keep in mind, this is not a replacement for people to just say, oh, let's just, wild line the scene. We're going to do a wide and a tight. Let's just do that all the time. And so that way we don't have to worry about getting a boom over people. This is not supposed to be a fix for every single scene and you doing things the wrong way. This is a replacement for a line or two, maybe even an entire scene that is going to be in a tough environment, like perhaps at the ocean. If someone is whispering, that could be a circumstance that you're in. You might need to actually record dialogue on that day in that circumstance and environment to save the day later. But it's not supposed to be like, oh, let's just do this wild, don't worry about it. Let's just do the scene wild and we'll go on. This is not something you're supposed to do every day. This is a fix for a particular circumstance, and don't let the ADs and the director get away with it. Mention that this is their movie. You want it to sound as good as it looks. Stroke the ego if you have to. Say, man, the dialogue, I don't want the dialogue to be the weakest link on this movie. Your movie deserves better. And just with a couple little tweaks here, the audio can sound amazing and mash everything else that you're doing and the performance you're pulling out of these actors, and y'all are all working. So, you know what I'm saying here. Really just stroke the ego if you need to in order to get them to actually give you those wild lines on the day, right there. So there you have it, the what, the when, and the why of the wild lines. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Soundspeeds. Be sure to tune in the future for more things that will help save your dialogue on set on the day, making post happy, and of course, sound advice. Have a question you'd like answered or want to add something? Be sure to write it in the comment section down below. You can also make a suggestion for future topics of discussion. Again, comment section down below, or you can email me at soundspeeds@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future sound advice.